Well, we absolutely love going live. The only issue with StreamYard is it does this thing and just says, "Hey, you're live." So, hi everybody, we're live. I am so excited to have Malia Schreiber here today dealing with one of my Achilles heels in business. And in some of the campfires that we've had, we've talked about this being an Achilles heel in a lot of people's business, and it has nothing to do with accounting. So we're in for the fun, sexy marketing conversation today. So first of all, I just want to welcome you, Malia. Tell little people a little bit about what you do. Malia is the owner of Millennial Marketing, and it's an organic marketing agency that she's built for small business owners. So she's focusing and specializing in the things that small business owners in today's world need: social media, websites, email newsletters, blog writing, videography, you name it. She's special to me because she is doing what she does best, which is help people do this work without breaking the bank, but still getting it off their plate. And I am now officially a client. So welcome, Malia. I'm so glad to have you here. And thanks for being willing to share some tips and tricks with our audience.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. So you're totally right. I started this business and I really just felt like there wasn't anything in between. There was high-level agencies who could do TV ads and newspaper and all that, which is crazy expensive, not that it doesn't work. And then there was every once in a while you would cross paths with like a freelancer who helped write social media content, but there was nothing in the middle, you know what I mean? So I'm a small business raised girl. My parents own a small business, and I just grew up with this kind of outlook, like there's nothing for them. They have no idea what to do. Everything is changing all the time, and there's no one to manage it in a cost-effective way. So that's what we try to do.
Oh, so you had to be you out of necessity.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So I worked for a lot of companies that were small businesses, and I was always in sales and marketing. And then I got thrown into a lot of the social media website stuff because I was usually the youngest on the team. And it just is one of those things that you don't realize how bad you need it until it starts working well. And you're like, oh, shoot, I should have done this forever.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny because this is one of those things that I've handled myself.
Yeah.
And I use the term handled myself loosely because I do this stuff. And I actually have a video about this on pricing that I just posted yesterday. And like, sure, I can do this myself. Anybody in this group can do this themselves. But two things happen. It takes a really long time. And we go through this convoluted path and all these silver, or I'm sorry, these, squirrel kind of things.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're supposed to land right here, we land someplace like here about 3 years later.
Exactly.
And when I can look to somebody like you and you can cut time out of the process and you can do it much better than I could do it. We talk about the fact that it's not just, you don't price that so that you're getting an hourly rate. You price it for the value I get out of it.
Right.
And you're still very, it still very much fits my business model as a small business owner.
Yes.
So to me, you've got that, like, you've hit that perfect balancing point of adding a ton of value at a price point a small business owner can afford and get the return on. So
right. And the other thing that makes us a little bit different is that every small business is completely different. I mean, we're not industry specific. So not only is that, obviously our clients are a lot different, but even if I had 100 finance clients, you guys would all have different goals, different strengths, different weaknesses, everything, you know what I mean? So we don't have set packages. Most of what we do is a la carte. So
I was going to say that.
Yeah, so we kind of come in and we say, listen, if I own your business from a marketing standpoint, this is what I would do. It's going to cost about this. And usually what happens is they say, I'm not going to pay that. And we're like, that's totally fine. Here's how we scale it back so that it fits your budget and you can still grow,
Yeah. And then you can get to the point where you can have all the things because it kind of starts to feed itself. So it becomes this really cool cycle where you pay what you do what you can afford to do, get the return, and that increases how much you can afford to do. That gets an even bigger return, and it just starts cycling and cycling. So
exactly. And it's a really good structure for my business too, because we are relationship people. We really don't want to have clients that we know for a couple months and then they go on their way, you know what I mean? So we want to grow with you for the next 10 years, let's say. So it's not our best interest to not break your bank right now. And eventually, and it happens all the time, clients that we've had for a year, 2 years, 3 years, every year they add more services because the business is doing better and they want to stay with us. They want to support us. So it's a really good structure.
Yeah, I do like that. And just to show you how much Malia focuses on her consumer, her client, which I am now, and I'm grateful for. If you'll notice, I just had a client call with her, 30 minutes ago, and
Yep.
look, she's wearing the same shirt, the same shirt. So that is what I call paying attention to your client.
Yeah, kindred spirits.
Kindred spirits, and it matches my logo. So, hey, if you don't get that level of service, it just might not be as special a client as someone else.
Yeah, I definitely wore the hoodie on purpose for sure.
I love that. So what do you find like for this target market, which is this group? So the Profit Concierge group and a lot of the people that watch this on YouTube and on my feed, whether live or on replay, that's a lot of small business players everywhere from, I am a coach that's just starting a one-on-one consulting business to, I've scaled to 7 figures or 8 figures, and now I need to keep the engine filled. Like, what is it that uniquely this group that you're targeting is wrestling with and has in common, and what are some tips you can give us to handle it in the meantime until we do get on the phone with somebody like you?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I think the answer is that small business owners are not interested in, they understand that ads work and they understand that they have to spend money to make money. They totally get that. But small business owners want to connect with their community. They, just like me, they want to build relationships with the people that they're doing business with. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's why we're an organic agency. I started this company offering ad services. So we would run ads for clients and things. I just found over time consistently that it wasn't getting the clients that people were retaining. It wasn't getting the clients that you knew by name. And it wasn't worth it to the small business owners. It wasn't worth the money they were spending on ads to get these one-time clients, So I think
That makes so much sense.
right. I think what everyone in this group is probably looking for is this authentic, organic community, with people who really support their business and will keep coming back and will tell their friends and everything like that. So we really specialize in building those relationships online.
And I love that. And that's why that resonated so much with me and with a lot of people who are active in this group, because we've really focused hard this year, actually towards the end of last year and into this year, in curating a community in the Profit Concierge group that is a community. Like, we've got these campfires that we do every Tuesday and Thursday. We do these Facebook Lives. We've had people making connections and serving each other and hiring each other, frankly. And that, like, what I realized about, just a little side story, I realized about a year ago is, not realized, I knew this, but it like registered to me, I guess, that in the finance business, I'm not ever going to do a cold sales call successfully, because this is people's finances and there's so much bottled up in their finances, everything from, shame and mindset issues and fear and all of that. So that the best way that I could ultimately feed my pipeline 5 years down the road was doing something I really love to do anyway, which is build the relationships without thinking about when or if they're going to convert into a client. And that's how this Profit Concierge group has kind of emerged. And it's become my favorite thing to do every week, is to play in that group. And ultimately, it may or may not lead to some very small percentage becoming clients, but it's a venue where we can get our information out there, get people to know, trust us, and learn what they need to learn.
Right.
So I loved your approach and it really resonated with me. And that's what you're helping me build now.
Right.
So when you work with somebody, and I know the answer to this, but I want to share it with people, what do you do to pull this out of them? What do you do to get that understanding? How do you translate, for example, Pam into these digital things?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I'm not sure if I know the answer, so I'm glad you do.
You do it. You do it.
But I think that because we're not industry specific, it's really, really important that we have a lot of face-to-face meetings. And we are a virtual company, so we will not see you in person, but we like seeing you on Zoom, and we like having, I want to know about your life. Like, I love knowing that you love your dogs and that you just got off the phone with your daughter who has a backache. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff is important, you know what I mean? Because it helps you know your customer, and it helps me give the best product to you,
That is a great, great point. In my case, the dogs are so much a part of my branding because I'm not going to ever control the barking.
Right.
So it's just part of my client calls. It's part of my marketing stuff.
I hear you.
But I really like that because you also speak to being yourself in your business. Talk
Yes.
to me a little bit about that and how that's had an effect on your business also, but also how you pull it in for your clients and get them to have that recognition.
Yeah, and I love this point. This is such an important part of my business. We are so focused on inclusivity and love, and you know what I mean? Like all of our we have team members all over the country, and they have friends and clients that are following our account and they want to see certain things from us. There's not as many business owners that are my age right now, and I started this business almost 4 years ago, and I think it was really important to set myself apart because people my age have a different mindset, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And we want different things for the world that we're building. And so we
Mhm.
really want to be part of that. That's really important to us. We're really involved in charities and our communities and giving back and making sure that everyone has a place.
I love that. And that's, that's something, one of the reasons I've really enjoyed this life. I mean, I enjoyed my corporate life, but it was very different. But in this life now, as an entrepreneur, a CFO to entrepreneurs, I get to meet and work with people like you who, the concept is just totally upside down. And
Yeah.
cool, because the upside down is, here's what I want to be able to contribute to these things. And it's going to be this much money. I had one person who gave an example, and I knew their numbers, so I know it was right. And they said, I know that to do what we want to do, and they happen to be doing schools someplace, we need to generate $9 million a year. And I know that to support the lifestyle my wife and I really want to have, we want to generate about $1 million a year for our
Mhm.
future. So I need a $10 million company.
Mhm.
And that's how they think about it. Whereas the old mindset was, I'm going to make my profit and I'm going to figure out what bit of it I can give to a charity.
Right.
And that to me takes, and I'm a person who's based in a Protestant faith, basically.
Mhm.
So that's taking the tithing concept and turning it completely upside down
Yeah.
and doing what was really intended. And you guys just come out of the womb like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just part of your nature. Like for you, for the people I'm working with, they don't conceive of it any other way.
Right.
And it's a remarkable change that gives me such amazing hope for where we're going. And
Yeah.
I'm 59, almost 60. And so, like, I've been able to see this migration. My daughter's your generation, and it's just a whole different mindset. So that's part of why I'm so excited to work with you, because it keeps my eyes open,
Yeah.
um, and challenges me in some of my old thought patterns.
Yeah. And I think we also, as a team, we all really take seriously this realism that we're all human. I think when you hire a company or when you work with someone else, you expect perfection, you expect all this stuff, and like it doesn't work like that, especially, and working with me, like there's stuff that you
You
have to
do.
flesh out. It's a creative industry and there's a lot of room to grow and mess up,
Yep.
and it's not a big deal.
Yep.
So we really love being part of an industry that is like, I messed that up. Let me delete it real quick because it's social media and it's not that big of a deal.
Bingo. And as we know, as entrepreneurs, stuff is going to happen. And the trust relationship, and Valentino talks about it here, is so important, because there are times with my clients where I have to go, geez, I'm not going to make this deadline that I thought I was
Right.
going to make. So what do I need to do now to make that up to you and make sure it
Yes.
doesn't have an impact on you?
Yes.
And our job is to juggle and make sure we're not missing the things that are going to be a problem,
Right.
but we're human. And when we build that trust relationship and get to know each other, it becomes part of the dialogue. And I just relax so much more,
Hmm.
because I had that, this thing in corporate where I have to meet all this, I have to please, I
Yes.
have to please, I have to please. And now I just know and understand the value of what I bring to the table. I know and understand the value of what you bring to the table. I
Right.
know what our outcome is going to be. I have no doubt about it. And that's built on trust.
Right. And I think you're right about that corporate mindset. It's easy to feel so replaceable when you're in a corporate environment. And we
Yeah.
really love making not only our teammates, but our clients feel invaluable. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
this relationship is always going to be,
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. We have to keep that sweatshirt forever now.
Yeah.
That's what that's going to mean. So, what are some of the first things that an entrepreneur, somebody just out of the gate, like I'm a solopreneur and I'm trying to get clients. So we have some health coaches in the group who are
Okay.
just starting their practices.
Great.
What are some things that they can do to generate? Generally, the usual problem is leads. I don't have any leads. What are
Yeah.
some things they can do organically to start getting leads?
Yeah, yeah, I think it totally depends on you and your industry, obviously. But I think always play to your strengths. I tell every client, I think I told you, play to your strengths. This is what you're good at. We want to roll with this, you know? So if you think it's fun to play around with video and to take cool pictures and, you know, then Instagram is probably a good place for you to start and start growing that community. But as a general rule of thumb, it is always important to have a website. And we want
Okay.
your website to be one that looks like it was made, not that you made
Talk to
it.
me about that. So talk to me about websites, because there's so much word, like everybody thinks first thing I have to do is build a website. And they try to quickly
Mhm.
throw up a website, and then they usually hate it 5 minutes later. But what is important about that website, and what's important to do once you have the website?
Okay, so I think simple is better when you first get started. If you are not starting a design business, there's no reason for you to think that you are going to successfully design a great website. Those are two different fields, you know?
Yeah,
So I would say
love
keep
that.
it simple, a couple pages at most with general information. Don't worry about throwing your entire life story on there. Only put on the website when you're starting what people are going to be on there looking for. If they're on there
Love
looking
it.
to buy stickers, just have the stickers available for sale. If they're just looking for a link to your podcast, have that link on the front page and that pretty much be it, you know? So play to
That
your
is great advice, guys. That's bomb. When we're going to index this right here, because that's an important piece of information for people. That's a great piece. Only what put on that first website what people are looking for from you. I'm going to jump in because I made a big mistake here, and I put my logo and my old corporate resume and some tools and an about me, and people came to my website, myself included, and a lot of people and are like, "What do you do?
where is
And
everything?
do I
Yeah.
work with you?"
Right.
And they just kind of go away. So which is part of why Malia is redoing my website. They did a great job, the people who did it before. They did
Right.
exactly what I asked for,
Yep.
but I didn't know what to ask for. So I love
Exactly.
that point.
Yeah, and you're not the only one. It happens all the time, but wouldn't it be easier? Because right now we're redoing your website and we're
Yep.
going page by page and saying, okay, what can we do to this to make it, you know what I mean? Like, how can we rearrange this? Because there's
Yep.
so much content on there. And how
Yep.
much easier would it have been to start from a blank slate or start from a couple pages and say, oh, let's flesh this out or let's put this over here, you know?
Yep. Yep. That is such a good point. In fact, I'm gonna, just as an example here, I think I'm gonna pull this current one up and just talk about why it. Let me shut this video up. I don't want it to go off. So and let me just, I think I can pull this up in here because, and then I think I can also make it just a side note to us. Yeah. So let me go to the screen though. Is that showing
Yep.
the video? Okay. So you can see it's kind of really boxy. We have a logo, we have a name, but if you come in here, there's like, oh, hi, there's a video, register for this thing. Here are some tools, and here's Pam's basic resume. And when you think about that, it really doesn't make a ton of sense because let me just get rid of that now. Because it doesn't tell you anything about me or what
Right.
we do.
Well, in the
And
first meeting that I had with you, that was exactly my thought. And this is my job to look at websites and say, okay, this is how we can make clients understand. And I was looking through your website and I was like, this woman literally does everything. I don't know what her job is. Like she is
bingo.
all over the place.
And that's where I learned that. Until you had that conversation with me, I didn't like get that. I thought, oh,
Right,
everything's here. So people, why would people want to go look at a website with everything? They're going to come with an intent.
right.
And I love how you say, look, keep it simple and
Yep.
put what people are looking for from you. So that's a fantastic tip. How about once that website's set up, what can they
Mm.
do?
So SEO is really important. I know people talk about it a lot, but nobody knows what it is. You know what I mean? So SEO is search engine optimization. And this is the stuff that is in your website that we put in there that we know Google likes. And the more Google likes a site, the higher it pushes it to the top. So you're going to be able to find people that maybe aren't looking for you, that can stumble upon you. You know what I mean?
I love that.
SEO is super important. If you're on websites like Wix or something like that, there's a whole SEO walkthrough. They make it really simple for you. If you're on something more advanced, then I would hire somebody to do it. It's not one of those things that I would mess
Yeah.
around with yourself, you know?
But this is cool. So folks, you just got another indexable tip here. If you want to start, you're starting with no money at all. You're going to build your revenue pool. Wix is a place you can go to build your website that's very intuitive, and
Yes.
help you do what is a really important second step. Your website's, is it safe to say useless unless you're really got
Oh
some
yeah.
SEO stuff that helps people
Yeah.
find it? Because it's almost like painting a beautiful picture and then locking it in a closet.
Well, I can't
'Cause,
tell you how many clients I have that we get on their website for the first time, and it's not even linked to Google. It's not even, so they spent thousands of dollars on a website being built, and it was never connected.
oh my
So
God, tell me mine was
isn't that
connected.
awful?
I have no idea if mine was connected or not. And I know there are a bunch of people out there who don't even know what that means.
Exactly, exactly. It's just one of those things, because you follow the steps with Wix and things like that. You just follow what it says, but you don't realize there's other steps that aren't part of any kind of walkthrough. You know what I
That
mean?
is gold there. I'm going to pop that up here too. Connect your site to Google. So number one, create a simple site. Number two, make sure that simple site points to what you do,
Hmm.
or why people would look for you, and only that. Don't confuse them with a ton of information. And then with a site place like Wix, if you build your site there, you can do your own SEO
Yep.
and be sure to connect your site to Google. Look that up. Look up how
And
to do
set up
that.
your Google My Business page.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
Set up Google My Business page. I'm popping this all in the chat for people. We're basically writing you guys a primer.
Right.
I can't thank you enough for sharing all this
Of
because it's
course.
going to be really helpful to people. And folks, now, once you are making some money, this is a good investment to have somebody else do. And for that reason that I described, the amount of relief I had when I could just call Malia and say, here are the things I think I want. What am I not remembering to do? And know that all of a sudden I'm in the hands of somebody who knows what I need and is doing it themselves and will tell me when I need to feed them stuff
Yep.
is just amazing. So one of the very cool investments you can make early on is this, because you get a ton of traction out of it. So, you can do it yourself from this, but remember the pricing video. It's going to take you a while and it won't be as good. But boy, I can't believe you just gave away the farm right here.
No
People,
way. And Pam, if I can make a shameless plug really quick, I actually have
oh,
classes coming
absolutely.
up. So we did a
Oh,
lot of classes last year, and then we got busy during COVID, which I hate to be happy about, but I was so happy about. And
uh, oh
but
man,
now getting back on the class routine. So our next class is actually in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a morning class, Instagram for business, and then I'll provide lunch, and then the second class will be Real Easy Reels. But then it'll also be live streamed. So if you're not in the Lancaster area, you can also buy tickets and watch it through video.
Oh my gosh, folks. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Email me the link or drop the link to that in the comments. And
Okay.
I will copy that to every place this is streaming.
Okay.
Because that's amazing.
We're launching it today, so first. So as soon as I have the link, I'll send it and you can push it out that way, okay?
Wow. All right, so guys, here's what just happened here. She's having a class that people are going to have to pay to go to, which is going to have a ton of information, but she just shared the basics with you right here on this Facebook Live. So play back through this and follow those steps on the website thing, because the message to set up a website is really not helpful if you don't have these very three important three first steps. And I'll just reiterate them again. 1, make it simple. 2, have it just say what you do. 4 steps. 3, use the SEO information, help, assistance that's available in a site like Wix. And 4, make sure you got a Google My Business page. That is awesome. So one of the other things you're doing for me that I love is you are helping keep me alive on Instagram, which is a place that I never really played. Now, the neat thing about this, folks, is what Malia learns or is learning and looking at is my voice, the stuff that I'm already generating that is me. So it's not fake Pam.
Right.
It's amplifying Pam. And she's doing what she's doing now is keep becoming making my Instagram an active live practice. How important is it if there were one word that I'd come up with, it's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And you're allowing me to now be consistent where I could never do it before.
Right. Yeah, and that's every small business owner. We're all freaking busy, all of us. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And Instagram for most of us is not a priority.
right.
But it makes a huge difference when you are consistent, just little things, you know. And another thing I wanted to say about having the voice for everybody, I'm not a con artist. I don't have your personality, you know what I mean? But
Right.
the way we structure social media content is we create all the content before the month even starts.
Mhm.
So before April even starts, you have all of the content that we're going to be posting in April, all the captions, all the hashtags, photos,
Mhm.
everything. So that way you can go down and say, I would not say that, or I would
Yeah.
probably say it like this, you know, and you can make your edits with your voice.
And you're learning that though each time too, right? So
Yeah,
I will tell you, the very first time I got your content, I didn't have a lot of adjustments to make. So you
good.
guys had spent some time clearly
Yeah,
looking at my stuff
right,
because there was one technical thing on an accounting standpoint that you're not going to know, but
right.
as far as the voice went, you had captured it, and that's I think what's so cool because I know now that I may invest a little more time the first month to edit,
Mhm.
but there's going to come a point where I know that you've got it.
Most of
So
our clients don't even look at it anymore, to be honest. It's something that makes new clients feel better, but the ones we've had for 6 months, a year, more, they
they're
don't even
like,
look at
yeah.
it.
And we talk about what's going to be important that month, and you
Right,
focus on what's important that month. And it's
exactly.
just it's just a real joy to just have those things off your plate. I
It
just
is.
can't even describe it. All things we can do ourselves. But so we got the webpage. We're trying to generate some organic traffic by building community.
Mhm.
When you say build community, and then I'll let you off the hook. This is the last thing I
Oh,
want to
you're
get.
fine.
When you say build community, what are some ways people can do that?
So, social media specifically, I think that sometimes people spend too much time thinking about the content that they're going to post when really only a couple people are going to see it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because the way the algorithm's set up. And I think social media was meant to be different than what it is now. And I think that the accounts that go back to the roots of what it is perform the best. You can make the most creative reels and you can have the best filters and you can go on live once a week. And these are all great things. But if you're not DMing the people who are liking every post, if you're not kind of like following along with the people who are spending time engaging with your content, then you're not going to build anything, you know?
Yes. It goes back to that whole consistency thing and building relationships.
It is.
And
So I
and people
think,
go, I don't want to build a digital relationship, but I'll tell you what, I have built some amazing our relationship grew
yep.
out of the Facebook group. All
Hmm.
of the stuff we're doing inside the Facebook group is digital growth.
Yes.
I didn't I went into it not thinking of it as a replacement for
Hmm.
me being in person, going out to speaking venues, getting to meet people in person. But now it's not a replacement. It's going to stay a permanent supplement because you really can build relationships.
Oh, absolutely. And you
I
know, for
mean,
Instagram specifically, you know that platform has changed a lot over the years. But right now, not that hashtags and all this kind of stuff aren't important, but the way to grow your account right now is collaboration. So you can post as many reels and as many stories and as many whatever as you want, but the best and most effective and fastest way to grow your Instagram account is to collaborate with other accounts. So that
huh,
means takeovers and that means you know, messaging and collaborated giveaways and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So, like I said
I
before,
did
you can
not
post
know
the
that.
best content, but if you are not, Instagram wants you to build relationships. If you're not doing it for what it's made for, you're not going to grow.
Yep. Which, by the way, Malia's team's doing as well with this is making sure that I know and we engage with the folks who we can do that kind of work with to build communities. So
So
that
for you, specifically for you, because we just started on your Instagram account, there's only a couple
yep,
posts on there so far. So we're starting from zero, pretty
yep,
much, because you were very sporadically
yep,
posting, whatever. But the perk that we have with you is that people already know your personality. The people that are following you, when they do see you, they're like, "Oh, that's Pam. Pam's the best." You know what I mean?
got
So that's a perk for us. Part of what we do these first 3 months, instead of doing a lot of outward research or outward you know, touches is reconnecting with your current following because you
Mhm.
already have X amount of followers. They already at some point were interested in your content. So let's just liven that spark up a little. So we'll
Yeah.
just reach out. We'll make sure that we like several posts from every single person that's following you so that we more often show up on their timeline. You know, we'll be reacting to their stories, sending them DMs, commenting on their posts. And this just rigs Instagram up, you know?
Yep. Yeah, love it. And then I could pipe in anytime I want, which I do very regularly, and
Yep.
I'll do some stuff in there as well. And the thing that I love is the same thing, is that, if there's something particularly interesting that I could comment on, you'll let me know, and I'll go in there and provide some feedback or input and those kind of things. So it's just really cool. It's been so much fun to get this out of my head and my ability to try and manage it and do it myself into the hands of somebody who can take it and just 10x the value of what's happening. I just love it. So, folks, I can tell you from experience, Malia is and Millennial are what they say they are. And I can't wait to post the link to the class as well, because that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll send it over to you as soon as we have it together.
Awesome. And I know I'm going to convince Malia to jump on a campfire sometime. So if you're lucky enough to get on that campfire, who knows? We may be able to have a whole marketing discussion about something. I'm going to actually turn the campfire into a hot seat now and then, depending on who's on the call and what people's struggles are in the moment.
Yes, that'll be so fun.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right. Any last piece of advice you want to drop for us here on a Thursday?
I don't think so. Sign up for my class. Yeah, and follow us on Instagram. If you're not already following Pam on Instagram, we're going to be ramping up her IG, so make sure that you're following.
Okay, awesome. Oh, so follow me on Instagram. But
you can follow me too.
You can also, more importantly, check out millennialmarketing.com. Notice the shortened MRKTG to see what's going on there. And I can't thank you enough for jumping on with us, Malia. This has been fantastic.
Thank you so much. This was awesome. I appreciate being here.
A lot of fun. Everybody, I won't see you till next week here on the Snackable Facebook Lives. So have a fantastic weekend. Take care.
See ya.